Alright, everybody, let's get back into the haves and the have-nots review. The show came back last week. And I'm late with this. I didn't get a chance to watch the show until a couple of days ago because I had like a lot of errands and all that to do. And, you got stuff to do and can't always get to things like this before. But I like to keep these videos up, just because for consistency reasons, just to adjust the camera and stuff a little bit. There we go. So let's get right into it. So we start off where we left off last time, where Veronica's at David's new house and she's looking in the door and she looks like she's about to cry. And so that moment didn't last long, because when we come back we see Veronica. She's looking around and she sees a brick, and when I saw it, I was like, ooh, look at her getting a brick. She takes that brick and just hurls it through the door. And so David comes running down the stairs. He's only in his underwear, and he just comes outside in his underwear and is like getting into it with Veronica. And she's like, you bought her my house! You said it was so expensive! And so now she's really mad. And I do think that David was probably trying to mess with her by buying the house that she wanted. I guess he's getting her back for the stuff that he did to her, or the stuff that she did to him. He's getting her back for it. So they go back and forth. Finally, she just says, "You bought this whore a house. You bought her a house." And then finally they get around to talking about Jeffrey, and he's just like, you know what, he is who he is. He's not a bad person. This is your son. You need to accept him. And so Veronica's like, so now you've gone to the dark side too. She does not want to accept this, and it's clear she doesn't want David to accept it, but she's not going to change David's mind. He just sees Jeffrey as their child, and he's going to accept his child and support his child, which is the right thing to do. And so Erica comes downstairs and she's like trying to get it turned up. She's trying to fight and go on, and I'm like, Erica, you know what, Veronica is not playing, and if you keep talking to her like that, she's going to make sure you end up like Maggie Day, which was the last woman who messed with David. No, well, actually not the last woman to come on the date. I think the DA, Jennifer Salison, came on to David after, but Veronica did not take her out. Catherine did, but either way, women that have messed with David have not come out alive, so it seems like there's a streak of bad luck there. So Erica, your luck may eventually run out. So anyway, finally Veronica goes on, she makes her threats. She's just like, and it's clear that she's out to get David, and she's probably going to find a way to get him. So Erica, she's cops an attitude. She's like, I can't do this, I cut my foot. And I'm like, put some antiseptic on it and keep it moving. I mean, I think everybody has cut their foot on shards of glass at one point or another. You break a glass in the kitchen or a jar or whatever. But Erica's like trying to be all, like she's now used to this stuff. She was with Warlock's girlfriend. She set Candace up to be shot. She was just in on a whole bunch of rotten stuff, and so her, like, I want to say holier than thou act is kind of lame, just from my perspective. So I'm not trying to remember what's in order. If I'm not in order, I apologize for that, but I want to make sure I cover everything that happened in the show. So next we get to Jeffrey. And so Veronica, clearly she's already, angry because of what happened to at David's new house. Or as she calls, this is my house. Okay, I'll stop. So she's messing with Jeffrey. It's the same old run around. You're in here, it's your fault. You wouldn't listen to me, and so she kind of plays Jeffrey. She says, "Are you going to come out of here and be the the husband and father that I want you to be? Are you going to stop seeing that girl?" And by girl, she means Justin. She's always calling these men girl. And Jeffrey's like, "Yes." And she's like, "You're not getting out of here. I'm not letting you out of here." And so that was that. Jeffrey is still stuck in a jail, and he should not have let Veronica play him like that. He just lets her play him, and she's like, "I love you, son. Don't you love me?" And he didn't want to say anything, and finally she prodded him and bullied him into saying, "I love you." Even though I don't think Jeffrey has much love for her at this point, if any love at all. Which he shouldn't, because she's just abused him so bad. Excuse me. And so, let me talk a little bit about what happened after. So, she leaves the little holding cell, or the interrogation room, sorry. And she runs into Justin, and she's like, "Hey, girl." And he turns around, and I'm like, "You're responding to that?" But Justin is, at this point, I don't think he really cares. He's just out in orbit mentally. And so they go back and forth, and she's like, "How's your wife?" And he didn't like that, but he comes back on her really hard. He's talking about Jeffrey liked being with him, that they're going to be moving in together. And the way he really clapped back on her hard was he said, your husband traded in his grandma for a younger mom. And that's basically what he said. And Veronica, she's like, "Yeah, I don't know how to come back from that one." That was her whole expression and posture, was like she didn't know how to come back from that one. And Justin also he essentially tells her that he's the one that ran her off the road. He's like, "Oh, I hear you have an accident. What happened?" And she's like, "I would think it was you, but I don't think you have the guts to do it because..." And basically she's saying that because he's gay, and she thinks that that's enough of a reason for him not to go not so cuckoo on her. But she's wrong about that. Just because Justin is gay doesn't mean he would not snap on her and do something crazy like run her off the road. But he's a good match for her because he comes at her in a way that is just about equal to her. He doesn't care about what he says, and he's willing to do whatever. And that's interesting because Jeffrey is into him, and he's still as toxic to Jeffrey as Veronica is to him. So they have their little back and forth, and clearly Veronica was owned in that exchange. So let's get to Hannah. So Hannah has been made over. She's got on the red dress, and she's got her hairdo. It's like Lady in Red in that song. And Benny, he's like, what is this? You got in this tight dress and this hair from the 70s? And I'm like, you're being rude, Benny. Come on. And he's got a lot of nerve because he got really irate last season when Hannah told him about Veronica, who is, actually dangerous. And so he kind of does a little interrogation of, what's the guy's name? Forgot the guy's name that Hannah's going out with. Anyway, he does this little interrogation of him, and it was fine because sons are going to be concerned about their mothers, for a variety of reasons. And if your mom's going out with a man, of course you're going to be, you're going to be concerned no matter how old you are. You're going to be like, okay, is this a good guy for her to be going out with? Is this safe, or whatever his intentions and all of that? But Benny's kind of a hypocrite, because if he can be concerned about who Hannah is involved with, Hannah can be concerned about who he is involved with, and just like, give him a warning, that person is not good for you. So that was that. And Hannah and the guy that she went out with, I cannot remember his name, they have their date, and they're out to dinner, and he tells her about his wife. He met her in Havana, and she passed away. He has some kids, and Anna's saying that she knows about grief, all that. So it was it was sort of like a getting to know you scene. So now, who else was in this episode? Okay, so let's talk about Candace and Oscar. So Candace and Oscar, or Brandon, whatever he goes by, they are, he's trying to convince her to go through with this thing, to get, to eventually marry, Charles. He's like, for 8 years, you can be in there, you can write a book, you can make all this money. It's a foolproof scam. And pretty much it's almost, I guess you could say it's almost legit, but kind of isn't. But, she's not going to go to jail for marrying a president, being first lady, it's a scam. So she doesn't want to do that. She's like, what about my money, the money you took from me? Oscar's like, there's no get rich quick scheme. And Candace is not really feeling that. She's like, no, I don't want to wait that long to get money. And so Oscar starts acting real funny. He's like, what did you do? What did you put in my drink? And he's trying to get up, and finally he's just passed out on the bed in his underwear. And I guess they did something, because he was like in his underwear, and he wasn't like that with in the season finale. So he's passed out on the bed, and Candace is gets on the computer looking up the account numbers or whatever. She calls her accomplice downstairs, and she says, well, I've got some stuff, and keep an eye on my girl. And I guess she's talking about Gia. And the guy says, well, my shift's over, but the next guy's coming in, I've been training him. And she said, well, I hope he can do what I need him to do. And I guess the guy, he's good. He knows what he's doing. He's still being trained, but I guess he knows what he's doing. Let's see. Let me roll through what is. Okay, so let me just get to Benny and Melissa. So Benny goes over to Veronica's house, and Veronica's not there. It's just Melissa. And so Benny wasn't picking up that it was probably Melissa that sent the text. It was Melissa that sent the text. And he's like, where's Veronica? Where's Veronica? And finally Melissa just has to, put it right out there. I sent the text from her phone. She's coming on in. She opens up her dress or her robe, whatever that was. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. And he's trying to be like he doesn't do this stuff. And he kind of reminded me of Hannah, when, what's his name? I think his name was Michael, the grandfather of the girl that got hit by a car when Hannah still had her house, and he kind of was coming on to Hannah and all that, and Hannah was like, oh, no. And it's like, you are trying to act like you don't do this stuff, but you're not trying to. Like you say, stop it, get up off me. And finally Benny just says, all right, come on. And he just gives in. So let's get on into Wyatt and his parents. So Jim and Catherine are sniping back and forth, and before Wyatt gets there, and they had paid like $2,000 to get the landlord to let him into Wyatt's place, and just say, well, the door was unlocked. So Wyatt gets there, and he's like, what are you two doing in my place? I don't want to see you. And Jim's trying to play the concerned father. He's like, well, Wyatt, we want to, basically saying we want to get you in check. So somehow Jim ends up going to Wyatt's pocket. He finds that big old block of cocaine, They get into a struggle, and he's like, no, Dad, I need that. Give it to me. No, no, no. And then Jim cuts it open, dumps it down the sink, and then that's when all hell breaks loose. Wyatt ends up smacking Catherine across the face. She goes across the floor, and Jim goes, he's like, don't you hit your mother? And it was almost like for a second that Jim has some real concern for Catherine. And I'm like, okay, that's the first time I've seen him actually be, concerned for Catherine. And I thought that was interesting. And right then, when he turns around to help Catherine, Wyatt bashes him in the head with a bottle. And it was a big old mess. And finally, Wyatt just holds up this big old statue, and he's getting ready to just clobber Jim with it. And Jim and Catherine, I tell you, they have never looked so scared at all of this series. Usually they're the ones in control, making the snappy comments and the comebacks and all that, but this time they really were scared. But that's how the show ended. But I forgot to talk about how the rest of Benny and Melissa, how the rest of them. So, Veronica comes in, and Melissa is on Benny on the couch, and you know what? That couch should be sanitized, because you don't do that on a couch. And so she's just basically using Benny as some sort of a transportation apparatus. Let's just say it like that, like a horse or a bicycle or a unicycle or whatever. And Veronica comes in, and obviously she is mad. She is mad. So next week we're going to see she just totally throws Melissa outside. So if I missed anything, I apologize for that, but that is the review. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.